Hello, and welcome back to my continuation of Stephen King's Misery. Hope you're doing fine, and welcome back for Chapter 1. Here we go. Chapter 1, Kiss of Life. Memory was slow to return. At first, there was only pain. The pain was total, everywhere, so that there was no room for memory. Then he remembered that before the pain, there was a cloud. He could let himself go into that cloud and there would be no pain. He needed only to stop breathing. It was so easy. Breathing only brought pain anyway. But a piece of the cloud was spoiled by the voice, which was a woman, a woman's voice, said, "Breathe, you must breathe, Paul." Something hit his chest hard, and then foul breath was forced into his mouth by unseen lips. The lips were dry, and the breath smelled of the steel wind in the tunnel of an underground railway. It smelled of old dust and dirt. He began to breathe again, so that the lips would not return with their foul breath. Along with the pain, there were wounds. When the pain covered the shore of his mind like a high tide, the sounds had no meaning. Breathe, oh, must breathe, Paul. When the tide went out, the sounds became words. He already knew that something bad had happened to him. Now he began to remember. He was Paul Sheldon. He smoked too much. He had married twice, but both marriages had ended in divorce. He was a famous writer. He was also a good writer. But he was not famous as a good writer. He was famous as a creator of Misery Chastain, a beautiful woman from 19th century England, whose adventures and love life now filled 18 volumes and had sold many millions of copies. He felt trapped by Misery Chastain, so he wrote Misery's Child. In the final pages of his book, Misery died while giving birth to a daughter. Her death had made Paul free, and he immediately started to write a serious novel about the life of a young car thief in New York. He finished the novel late in January 1987. As usual, he finished it in a hotel in the mountains of Colorado. He finished all his books in the same room in the same hotel. Now he could drive to the airport and fly to New York for the publication of Misery's Child, and at the same time he could deliver the typescript of the new novel, which was called Fast Cars. The weatherman on the radio said that the storm would pass to the south of Colorado. The weatherman was wrong. Paul was driving along a mountain road surrounded by pine forest when the storm struck. Within minutes, a thick layer of snow covered the road. The car's wipers were unable to keep the windows clear, and the tires couldn't grip the surface of the road. Paul had to fight to keep the car on the slippery road. Then, on a particularly steep corner, he couldn't control it. He had time to notice that the sky and the ground changed places in an unbelievable way. Then the dark cloud descended over his mind. He remembered all this before he opened his eyes. He was aware of the woman sitting next to his bed. When he opened his eyes, he looked in her direction. At first, he couldn't speak. His lips were too dry. Then he managed to ask, "Where am I?" "Near Sidewinder, Colorado," she said. "My name is Annie Wilkes." She smiled. "You know, you're my favorite author." And that is the end of Chapter 1. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.